Don't get a sucker no statue. Give him guts.
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher.
Well, hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher. I'm a professional artist, master educator, attempting to bring you the best in art historical content. If you like this one, please make sure you give a like, a share, subscribe. An interaction with the video really goes a long way. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I ain't got friends.
So today what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about one of the seven wonders of the ancient world, the Colossus at Rhodes. And when I think about the Colossus at Rhodes and how absolutely huge this thing was, and how the daunting task of trying to make something so huge look so realistic, and it makes me think about little things that look really great. This is one of my favorite toys from my past. This is my Luke Skywalker action figure from back in the day, the original fella. And when I think about the folds in the clothing and the realistic look and the adventures that we had together back in the day, it makes me, it gives me like a positive, positive vibe. But today I want to talk about how the Colossus of Rhodes would go on and influence generation and generation and generation and generation that would eventually have its way to influencing Mr. Luke Skywalker here. So, without further ado, let's get to the Colossus at Rhodes. The Colossus of Rhodes was in the city of Rhodes, which is on the island of Rhodes, and so there you have it. This is the wonder that actually survived for the least amount of time. From the time that it was put up to the time that it fell down. It was only in existence for about 54 years. It was created in the 3rd century BC, again in the city on the island of Rhodes. The Colossus would have stood 110 feet tall. The Colossus was built in the likeness of the sun god Helios. And according to archaeologists, this thing would have stood with his feet together. Now during the Renaissance, well after this thing was down into the harbor, it was depicted straddling between two islands on the harbor. Not true. Number one, it would have made it more difficult to get into the seaport where it was alleged to stand. The construction would have caused the port to be closed down, which would not have happened. And it would have been very difficult to build it there in the first place, so 3 strikes you're out. An earthquake caused the statue to snap at the knees, and it would have fallen onto the ground and crushed some of the buildings that were underneath it. The idea was kind of floated out there to rebuild it, but an oracle refused to allow it to be rebuilt, and so it just kind of laid there for about 900 years. Anyway, they kind of got tired of just watching it lay there, so they decided to sell it off as scrap metal. And according to the legend, it took 900 camels to haul off all of this melted down Colossus. There are several visible influences of this that we can find in our history, including the Colossus of Nero that was built in 65 AD, and more closely to home, the Statue of Liberty. The Colossus of Rhodes and the Statue of Liberty actually stood at the exact same height, minus the base. They would have had the same crown, and they were both kind of a salute to the sun god Helios. I love that. Oh, Luke and I love that story. Thanks for watching.
Much to learn. You still